Nice to meet you. What's your name?
My name is Aleese.
Where are you from?
South Africa.
Wow. And how long have you been in China?
About 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
2 weeks? What are you doing here? Is it okay to ask?
At the Air Force Aviation University. So on a course. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. And these are your friends, right?
Yes. These are my fellows.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
How has your time been in China? How do you find the experience living in China?
It's been amazing so far. Yeah. It's friendly, it's clean, it's neat.
Is it like what you thought China would be before you came to China?
Honestly, no. I thought the people would be mean and just the language barrier, but everything else is just like...
So you find that China is different from what you thought?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I was actually expecting what I see on TV.
Yeah.
When I get here is different.
Yes, right. That is what I've always said on my channel, that I think it's so much different from what I've heard and read about. Yeah. I wish you guys the best here in China. I'm sure you enjoy your time here.
We do. We will enjoy it more. So we're touring now for a week. So we're going from city to city. So
I'm on my lunch break. I'm in this park by myself. It's super hot today in Hangzhou. It's like 33 degrees. But I'm sitting in this park under these trees and it feels okay. And the wind is blowing a little bit, so it feels a little better, but it's really hot. Anyways, earlier I showed you guys a clip of me talking with some South Africans, and I just found it so interesting that they're 2 weeks here in China and already they can feel that China is different than what they saw, you know, when they were outside of China. A lot of foreigners, they come to China and they feel, wow, it's so different. Earlier I was talking to this woman from UK. She came to our school to visit and she was talking about how China surpassed her expectation. It's her first time being in China, and how, you know, she didn't know what to expect coming to China, but being here, it has surpassed any expectation that she had, and it kind of put UK to shame a little bit, she said. I've never been to UK, so I can't compare China, but there's another side. There are foreigners that come to China, and China is not a place that they enjoy, or they find living in China challenging. So today I want to talk about some Western behavior or attitudes that I believe would make life in China challenging for you if you ever come to China. And the first one is, I believe someone who doesn't like authority should not come to China. Like, China, the society in China is governed by law and order. And if you're coming to China and you're someone who hates authority, you don't like following the rules, I believe that it will be a challenging time for you in China, because people in China, they tend to follow the rules to the T. In my experience, that's what I've seen. I remember during the whole COVID situation, they rolled out QR code. You needed to scan to enter public areas, such as, you know, subways, supermarkets, that kind of stuff. And I remember wanting to go on the subway the first few days this QR code rolled out. Foreigners didn't have this QR code on their phone. We didn't have Chinese ID, and it was not applicable to foreigners at the time, right? And so I wanted to get on the subway, and the security guard at the door, he said, no, you cannot get in. You either show me your QR code or you will not get on the subway. And I was like, here I am with COVID results, and you're not allowing me to get on the subway. He said, no, the rule says that you need QR code, a green QR code, to enter this subway, right? And so he didn't let me on the subway. So that is this kind of thing in China that sometimes can feel frustrating. It can be upsetting for some people, and it's not like I'm blindly like in love with all these laws and they are so easy for me and it's okay and I'm happy, yay. No, there are some things that I find challenging in China too. However, coming from a place where there's always someone fighting with police, there's someone always protesting, there's someone always disrupting peace in public areas, I find it a bit peaceful. The value that I believe would make life challenging for any foreigner in China is someone who believes every single thing Western media says about China, and you're unwilling to challenge those beliefs. Do not come to China. Now, I am not saying China is a perfect country or my life is so perfect in China. Nowhere is perfect on earth, right? However, I believe Western media push a surplus and excess of negativity about China. They manufacture stuff about China, right? There are good things in China, just like how there are good things in the West. But Western media tends to forget the good things about China. One example is the Belt and Road Initiative. They will not talk about the fact that this is a good thing. They will say it's a death trap, right? Like whatever good, China does, Western media tends to find a way to make it negative. What I'm saying is, if you believe all the negative stories about China and you don't want to change your beliefs, you don't want to challenge, you don't want to see if it's true or not, you don't want to see another side, don't come to China. Because I promise you, you will come and you will see things that are different. You will see that Chinese people are not all mean. You will see that you're not living in a prison when you come to China. I don't feel like I'm living in a prison in China. I feel free in China. People comment a lot of negative things when I say that and think I'm delusional or whatever. Guys, I'm not delusional, right? You can maintain a good lifestyle here in China, and Chinese people are normal. And if you learn the language, you will feel like you will learn so much more. And that's another thing. I feel like if you come to China and you do not want to speak the language, you do not want to learn any Chinese, you don't speak Chinese and you're unwilling to learn, you don't want to learn any Chinese, you don't care about Chinese, I feel like you should not come to China, because you're missing out, and I am missing out on so much because my Chinese is not good. You know what, guys? I want to get serious about learning Chinese. So if anyone is out there willing to teach me Chinese, let me know. I am more than ready and willing to sign up for those Chinese classes or to take your private tutorship.
Here to Chengdu for 4 reasons. 1, to see the pandas. 2, see my Instagram bestie turn real life bestie at the destination. Number 3, to eat. Chengdu is a UNESCO city of gastronomy, meaning it has some of the best food in the world. Number 4, to see my friend Bruce. Bruce was actually my very first Chinese friend and student while I was living in Michigan. Well, since I've already done all those things, it's time to introduce you to my good friend, Bruce. Where can I make the most money teaching English in this world? And the number 1 answer was China. I was like, okay, cool. The idea of living halfway across the world in the East was exciting, but also really scary. What I did was seek out language partners in my hometown. All I did was post on this student union website looking for a language partner, saying that, hey, I am a girl who's looking to move to China in the future. I'd really love to learn more about the culture and the language. Is there anyone who would like to have a conversation partner? And the person I vibed with the most was a Chinese guy from Chengdu named Bruce. And so Bruce and I used to go out for coffee once or twice a week, and we would have the most eye-opening, incredible conversation. He debunked all of the ridiculous myths that were in my head. He told me the truth of what the country was really gonna be like. I mean, literally the most eye-opening thing that he said to me was, Aleese, you're not going to the moon. Of course you'll be able to get all of the things that you need. All of the things that are in America, yeah, of course we have them in China. Why wouldn't we? And I was like, oh, yeah, right, okay, yeah. So I moved to China while Bruce was still living in Michigan. Then once we were both in China, the pandemic and just life got in the way. And this is going to be the very first time I see Bruce in 3 years. We are waiting for our table to eat some hot pot. The air inside the restaurant is just filled with Sichuan pepper. Ichi.
Ichi.
Hello. Hey, y'all. Okay. He wants to take a picture. Everybody's coming.
If you didn't know, Chengdu is famous for its super spicy hot pot. And this will be my very first hot pot, and it just seemed fitting to experience it for the first time with a Chengdu native like Bruce.
Look at this. Oh my god. Ginger.
Yeah, ginger.
Garlic.
I know the people from Sichuan, the spicy flavor. This one is only for you.
It is only for me. Oh, very fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very chewy. Tastes like anything.
Fishy.
Yeah. No smelling, no fishing, no real flavor. Just, it's not bad. When we met each other, we were in such an interesting point in our lives.
And that's true, y'all. I had just left New York City and moved to my mom's couch because my grandpa was really sick and staying in my bedroom, and I had to help care for him. Plus, my dog was really sick and needed surgery. Plus, all of my friends had moved away, and I was carless and jobless and trying to complete my certificate so I could get to China, plus all of the China visa paperwork. Plus, I was in a weird new relationship that didn't end great. And honestly, my life was all over the place. And then I started hanging out with Bruce and learned that his life is also a mess. And we would have really good vent sessions, and I'd introduce him to a bunch of cool, authentic American restaurants. And like one time we went to a petting zoo. We used to talk for hours, and he would kind of debunk all of these myths I had about China. And then I would do the same thing, debunking myths and weird ideas that he had about America. It was just really intriguing to get his perspective on my hometown in the country that I was an expert in. And now here we are 3 years later, and I'm sharing all my perspectives and ideas and opinions about his country and his hometown. And it's like, oh, we have actually walked in each other's shoes.
Oh my god, it's so spicy. Yeah, I let the cabbage sit in there for far too long. What about Detroit?
Oh, it's very nice. It's a fantastic city. Once you got there, you are gonna love that city. You won't live anymore. Trust me.
He's lying. He's lying. You know, you're so right. This whole area is much better than like anything.
You are planning to move to China sometime in the future, which is a perfect good idea. Maybe you are coming to work in China, or you are a foreign student, or maybe you just enjoy the idea of China. So stay tuned to the end so you know exactly what to expect sometime in the future. So one thing is, living here as a foreigner, everybody is so curious about you. Like, everybody wants to know, who is this guy? What do you do? Like, what do you eat? Sometimes, you know, they ask lots of questions, like about my hair, you know, about the color, like, you know. And sometimes I feel like, well, it might seem a little bit annoying in the beginning, but when you get used to it, I think it's just so much fun. Another thing that I experienced kind of a lot in China is that as a foreigner, you get a lot of assistance. Like, there is just so much public assistance. Everybody wants to help you. Maybe this has more to do with Chinese culture, because originally Chinese are just so nice, so friendly to visitors. And as a foreigner, you fall into that category. Maybe if you lost your phone, you want to use someone's phone to make a phone call, or if you are just asking for directions, everyone is just so much willing to like drop their stuff, maybe some important things they are doing, and just help you, and they are just so happy to assist you.
我们这里有肥肠、卤猪头、甲鱼，
非常，
对，肥肠、卤猪头，还有甲鱼，
甲鱼是什么？
这样的。
甲鱼，我看一下，我没有吃过。
这样的，
哦，它是鱼吗？
这是甲鱼。
甲鱼？
对。
哦，不是假的鱼，是
真的鱼。
哦，名字是甲鱼。哦，这个。
哎，那边从这儿直走过去。
就是那边直走。
对，这边直走过去，那边有个大湾区嘛。
嗯。
那边。
哦，那个叫什么公园？
这边的话，这边过去是温江公园。
这边是温江公园。
对，温江公园。
这边过去远不远？
不远，就在那个菲尔顿那儿就是。
哦，往那边。
对，从这边过去，直接过去。
走路就可以到吗？
对，可以。
好好，谢谢老板。
不用。
谢谢，好，拜拜。
慢走，慢走。
There is one time I went to the bank here in China. I was going to get some service done. And when I got there, there was just so many people waiting in line. Because I'm a foreigner, I heard them saying, well, we have a foreign friend. Why not give him some space? He should go first. And I was like, wow, why? I should wait in line like every other person. I'm not even in a rush. And they were just so nice to say, wow, it's okay. You can go first. And maybe we can wait for some time. I was just so grateful. And every other person just cooperated and they gave me a chance to go first. I see this happening a lot in China. The time when I just got this motorcycle, I was flashing on the street and I didn't even have the license yet. One time I got into the hands of the police. Apart from me, there were other Chinese who were caught there on the street for some other reasons. And finally, they asked me, do you have a license? And I said, well, I'm sorry, but I haven't had the license yet. So normally it was supposed to be a punishable act by the law, but guess what? They finally had to let me go just on the basis that I'm a foreigner and I don't understand the law. And they had to give me a warning that we're going to let you go, but don't let this happen again. Don't get on this motorcycle without a license. So this is something that you should expect in China any now and then, but maybe don't take it for granted. Another thing that I see quite a lot in China as a foreigner is that most of the time people call you Laowai. And I think that being a Laowai, actually, there isn't anything bad about it. It's just a way to refer to you as a foreigner. Let's say that maybe some Chinese persons are walking on the streets and they see a foreigner. The easiest way to refer to that person as, oh, that's a foreigner, they are just going to make it as that's a Laowai. So sometimes when I'm talking to someone on the phone for the first time and the person asks me, hey, who are you? I just say, well, 我是那个Laowai. And sometimes it's a bit funny to them that a foreigner is referring to himself as a Laowai. And I say, yeah, of course, I'm a Laowai. And that's because I live here in China. Maybe if we meet in my country, you are going to be referred to as a Laowai. So this is something that you have to get used to it if you are living in China or visiting China anytime. Don't take it personally. For me, I take it to just be a normal appellation as a foreigner.
Since China closed its borders, 你好。哎，什么？对啊，因为我是黑人，你知道吗？对，我们在这儿有外国人，有白人，有很多人，有中国人，是吧？我们是黑人 ，OK？ 你会说英语吗？哎，你们什么？黑人是 black person，OK？ So， 哎，你去哪儿？ 慢一点，妹妹在哪儿呢？你们在哪里吃饭？这里有什么？可以。是吗？哎呀，我也喜欢。哎，嘿呢。好的。
快点，快点，都来了。
好的，你们在这有面条吗？
有
面条。
对，有排骨粉，有大骨粉。
是吗？
对。
好，我要牛肉面条。对。在这吃，对。
我要吃大骨粉。
你们拿吃还是在这吃？
对。
咦？
过来，给我过来。
好的。他好厉害。你真的可爱啊。Okay, so I think I made a new friend. She's so nice, cool. 哎，我叫 Fel， 你叫什么名字？什么？王昭瑞。哎呀。王昭瑞。
别说。
但是你
姐姐。
啊，但是你的姐姐是吧？
对，是我的姐姐。
哦，好的。
两个都要，如果合在一起的话就是要的。
好的。你会说是什么歌曲啊？
姐姐唱的，这姐姐弹琴的歌。
啊，
这不叫歌，这叫弹琴的。
弹琴。
姐姐早就上3年级了。
3年级。
我还上4年级。
4年级哦。
哦，你脸真的有黑的。
对。
为什么你有？
因为我们是不同的人，你知道吧？有非洲，有美国，有澳大利亚，那边有黑人，知道吧？美国有黑人，有白人，美国有很多中国人，也有黑人，也有白人，也有很多人，知道吧？
有的人白的像墙壁一样。
对，然后那个中国很多是中国人，是白色的人，不是黑人，知道吧？对，因为黑人他们会跑步很多啊，他们做运动啊，很好。
你看这里。
有什么？
看这里。
有
扫码的地方。
对。
好了。
你能换筷子给我吗？这个筷子。
拿个椅子呢是吧？
对。
好，可以来。
谢谢。
你不用筷子干嘛？
勺子要不要？
勺子要。给我那个筷子。
为什么你不要筷子？
我要筷子，但是我要你的筷子这样的。对。我想跟你吃是一样的。
那我来喝果汁了。喝果汁喽！赶紧吃了。我不喜欢抱黑漆漆的脸的人，我只喜欢抱白白的脸。
为什么？
因为白白脸是最好的人，我黑的人，咦，把我身上早就弄脏了。
你觉得是？不是脏了，你看我的皮肤，没有脏了，没有。
它只是天生的。那我的那个。
好多黑人也是很好的。
那我山坡那个呢？
你看电影看过黑人吗？
他没看过电影。
你没看过电影？你几岁啊？
还4岁。
哇，好小。
我什么呢？我只看过那个中国的电影，我根本就没去过电影院。
哦，没去过
我也没去过电影店。
是吧？
我一直都在国家都没有去过电影店，所以过久了我就在城镇了。
哦。但是我告诉你啊，不是，就是 白人都是好人，有白人是不好人，黑人也有很多什么。你好，你是他的爸爸是吧？哎，爸爸你好，你好，你好。
你们在这吃饭呢？
我们叫他们点了一个大骨粉，为什么他们点了一个排骨粉？
要不然我来跟他们吃。
哦，可以可以，我们家小朋友他看见你老兴奋了。
对，我看到，但没有看过外国黑人过，对。人没有。
看过你黑漆漆的脸。
你是哪个国家？
我是加纳的人，加纳
是哪里？
是西非。
西非啊。对。
哦，听过那个南非是吧？
那你中文几级了？中文讲得很好了。
谢谢。
你可以吃点这2个。
好的。
这个酸。
他好厉害。
这个酸。
好，我试试。
酸辣。
好的，我。
你们用英语跟叔叔交流吗？行吗？还不行吧？
他们就说。
所以说你得多学习，要不然你看现在叔叔从西非过来我们中国，用中文跟你说的这么好，然后如果说你有一天去外国呢，你怎么样能不能像他这样厉害？能吗？所以说要多读书，知道没有？知道吗？刚刚我看见他拽着你，我过来看一下，这小朋友有没有捣乱？
没有。
没有捣乱。那行，你们吃完饭就赶紧回来，好吧？
好。那我们在路上交流怎么样？在路上交流。
可以。姐姐，你是几岁啊
？9岁。
你9岁？
哦。4岁，我是4岁。
马上就10岁是吧
？4岁。
他是4岁。你们每天来这吃饭吗？
我没有说话，我们来握一下手吧。
什么？
握一下手。就是握一下手。
你看没有问题。
为什么你老是听不见我说话？因为你说话的太小声了。
是吗？
你好，我可以给你合张照片吗？
可以，没问题。
来，小朋友，
我们一起拍啊。
我看。
咦？好的，没事。你们在这看过外国人吗？没有啊。
我们也有见过，看过。
我有一个朋友。
是不是我们家小朋友拉着你进来吃饭的？
对，他们来这吃饭，他们说来这，我们在这吃饭，我们一起吃饭吧。我说啊，然后拿这个面。
我们家这个小的这一个讲话，很厉害的。
他好厉害，真的。他想知道，你是谁啊？
吃一点。
好，我吃。
吃一点。
你都没吃，我都没看到你吃。
不是，我现在吃。
好吃吧？酸不酸？
好吃，酸。这个呢？
酸。
我喜欢这个。你们开始学英语是吧？你会？
我不会。
你不会啊？但是你们在学校学是吧？
我跟姐姐一样，3年级才会。
哦，那姐姐你应该会是吧？会一点。Okay, now let's speak English. What's your name?
他这个不会。
还不到，还没有学到那里，刚刚开始学3年。
3年？
对，还不到时间，太小了。
我从来都没见过你呀。
爸爸先回去了，拜拜。
你们学了什么字母的？你见过黑中国人的吗？见过吗？你见过黑中国人的吗？
我这里有指头。
不好意思啊。
我在中国没有见过黑人。
没有。
你看几点了？你看。
马上是1点。
1点。
对。
我
11点45呗。
11点还没到45，好像是44。
44，对。
名字。
我的名字是 Fel， 说 Fel，F-E-L。
那我叫你叔叔吧。
叔叔就可以。
Travel. I feel like China isn't really put on the map of people's bucket list or people's wants and needs to travel to. But I think you should make it a priority because this is a really great country that has a lot to offer and there's so much more beyond what you know. Like when you get here.
Challenges maybe I'm on my girlfriend and me, I think it's to find a boyfriend.
I think at times you do find there is still quite a lot of sexism within China. I think it's definitely, there have been reduced risks, but there have been, like 1 or 2 examples of, fear, but not as bad as Scotland, not at all.
No, I've never had any safety concerns. I think the only reason or the only way that I'd have one is being triggered by something that I know from back home and then going through like that emotion and then realizing, oh no, I'm in China, so nothing's gonna happen.
Welcome back again to another episode of Living in China series coming from China. Today's project was done by the help of 2 amazing YouTubers based in Shanghai. So I want you guys to do me a favor, go to the description right away and subscribe to the channel of The Familiar Foreigner and Tembos_M. Support them. Please subscribe to their channel, like the videos, share, and let's grow the channel together. So today's video is about what is it like being a foreign woman living and working in China. Subscribe and let's grow the channel together. Peace out. Briefly introduce yourself, your name, how long you've been in China, where you're from, and your YouTube channel.
Okay. Hello, my name is Timberlitz Mabuza, aka Tembles. My YouTube channel is Tembles_M, and I've been in China for almost 3 years.
My name is Aaliyah and I have been in China for about 4 years now, and my YouTube channel is The Familiar Foreigner.
What do you do on the YouTube channel?
On my YouTube channel, I basically document my life, my travel and lifestyle here in China, living abroad as a Canadian.
Okay, so briefly introduce yourself, your name, and how long you've been in China.
Hi everyone, my name is Marina. I'm living in China already like 10 years.
10 years in China?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Bethany. I have been in China, I think this is my 5th year now.
And where are you from?
I'm from South Africa and the UK.
I am Ellie. I am from Scotland. I've lived in Shanghai about 3.5 years now.
3.5 years?
Yeah.
How is it like being a woman, an expat, a foreign woman in China?
I think as a woman, I think Shanghai and China is such a safe place to be. I feel I am very fine walking around at night or just with friends alone at night when it's dark in Shanghai because it's a very safe place, especially in comparison to where I'm from in Scotland. It's definitely a lot safer. Yeah.
How you doing?
What's going on?
Come on.
Brianna, everyone. Brianna Wise.
What's up, everybody? What's up? Bro, where's your umbrella?
I didn't bring one. I didn't think it was raining. That's why. Okay, so tell us who you are and where you're from and what you do for work.
I'm Briano, B-R-I-A-N-O. Briano, that's my name. I'm from Ghana, Africa, West Africa, to be precise. And then I'm a recording artist, a model, and then an influencer. Yeah.
Nice. So what made you come to China initially 12 years ago, and where did you go like straight away initially?
All right, so I came to China to study.
Okay.
Yeah, I did my bachelor's degree here in China. I was in Shenyang, the northern part of China. I came to study petroleum engineering because
petroleum engineering.
Yeah, I'm an engineer. So yeah, back in the day, 2010, Ghana was like, we just discovered petrol.
Yeah.
So like many people just went out to study petrol because I mean, the perception or the idea was like, after studying, you're going to come back to Ghana and then, use whatever you acquired or the knowledge you acquired back in Ghana.
So what happened and you stayed in China for like, now it's 12 years now?
Yeah. So after my bachelor's degree, I pursued my master's also in petroleum engineering, right? And then after that, I just entered into music.
Okay.
Yeah, from childhood I just been doing music.
So that was your dream, to do music, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And did you find it was easy to do that in China? Was there like
bro.
opportunities?
Yeah, opportunities, bro. They had many opportunities because I mean, I entered into production, like music production, okay, as an engineer. So, and then the gadgets are not so that expensive here. I wouldn't say that not that expensive, but I mean, it's easy to get access to.
Okay.
Okay, and then I got acquainted with some friends who also do music. So, I mean, that's the main reason why I kept staying here.
So, what do you really like about China?
That's a big question, bro. It's a broad question. I mean,
it's a broad one. I know.
But I can talk about this whole day. Anyway, let me start with the food.
Okay, the food. Yeah. What's your favorite food?
Malatan. Malatan is a food in the north.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huoguo. It's another dish or food I really like. Apart from those two, we have the chow miens. That in the morning when I get my hot chow mien or Niro chow mien. Bro, damn.
You like the noodles, yeah?
Yeah. So apart from talking about the food, the people, okay, because there are some very, very warm-hearted people here in China.
Because you've been here for 12 years, so you've made good friends here, right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about, the people, I have some warm-hearted friends, like, bro, they are like, down to earth. So the people and then the culture.
What do you like about the culture?
The traditional stuff. Because they're not blending it with so many Western things, you understand what I'm saying? So they keep it to the roots.
So keep it original.
Original, bro. Original. That's the thing, bro. So the culture is very, very important. I mean, if you can even go to a club and you consider even the feeling of the club has this traditional Chinese thing, and it makes it authentic and makes it special, okay?
Nice. Is there something that you don't really like here? Like, you've been here for 12 years. Is there something that annoys you or you don't really like?
Yeah, bro, sometimes when I'm walking outside, the way people gaze or stare at me, bro, it's crazy.
Is it because I get called like Laowai all the time?
Yeah, I mean, that's normal. If being in China for all these years, this is something that it has even become normal to me, but sometimes I just can't take it because the way they stare at you, the way, everybody just takes his camera and then just takes a picture or video of you without your consent.
Without your permission.
Yeah.
This happened to me once when I was in the gym. Someone came up to me and literally just took a picture.
Yeah, it's something that...
because back home, in Ghana and in England, bro, this wouldn't happen, you know what I mean?
About you. Like, nobody even...
How did you learn to speak fluent Chinese? Can you tell everyone?
So when I came here, I had in my mind that like I'm gonna learn the language like crazy because I mean that's the most important thing that's gonna keep me around here, right?
So you were motivated to learn straight away, yeah?
Yes, bro. So,
did you learn in a university or university, yeah?
Yeah, and shout out to my teachers, like they were so cool.
Was that like a requirement for you to study in the university here or you didn't, was it in English, your course?
Yeah, my course was in English, but previously I wanted to study in the Chinese medium.
Okay.
So that's why I took the Chinese language super, super crazy. Like I was really, really into it, bro.
Can you give like some advice for someone, because you've been here for so long, for someone who's coming first time to China, what's the easiest way to learn Chinese?
Bro, it's all about being dedicated to the thing. That's all. And then the surrounding is very, very important because wherever you go, everybody's speaking Chinese. So it's one of the things that's gonna help you to be able to study the environment. For example, if you go to the Chaoshi, that's the supermarket, everybody's speaking Chinese. If you go to the hospital, everybody's speaking Chinese. So
just try your best every day.
Try your best and just
What's like a big difference between your country Ghana and China?
Can I start with transportation, bro?
Okay, yeah. Transportation.
Transportation in China is super, super, super convenient. I mean, for example, if you want to go to a different city, you can just book your train on your phone.
Yeah.
Okay. And
everything's on the apps.
And the app, bro, is super, super convenient. If you want to travel from, like, you just want to move from a 10-minute block, you can call your Didi or it's Uber, right? They call it Uber back in Ghana.
And they're cheap here,
bro. Super, super cheap and super convenient. One other thing I'll add to it is like, bro, in China around 12 a.m., 1, 2, you can still be walking around like freely. Okay, this I'm being honest. Okay.
So that's safety then?
It's safety, bro, no matter the place. But in Ghana, there's some specific places I don't think I mean, when I was back home, I don't think there's something I would want to go at all.
Got you,
right?
So there's some areas that back home maybe you don't go late at night.
Nah.
But in China, it's relatively safe, you know. So
yeah, just being honest. Yeah.
That's true. All right, so to finish off, what do you miss about back home, like about Ghana?
Bro, I miss the Ghanaian food, bro.
Ghanaian food, yeah.
Basically,
you need to cook for me one day, bro.
Bro,
you need to cook for me this
Ghanaian vlog behind, bro. Anyway, first of all, I just miss my family. To be honest with you guys, my family, my friends, my mom and dad.
Yeah.
Apart from that, the food.
The food, yeah.
Anyone who knows Brian, knows that I don't play with my food.
Which type of food though? Is there something specific?
Bangkung,
fufu,
and
yeah.
the jollof.
And the jollof is the one.
I know my Nigerian brothers are gonna fight over this jollof thing, but no, come on, man. There's only one jollof in the world. It's Ghanaian jollof.
The Ghanaian one. Yeah.
Bro, I'll cook for you next time. See ya.
All right, my bro. Take care.
Take care, bro. I gotta
Thanks for being part of this video.
Yeah, shout out to everybody out there. Having a good time.
12 years in China.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Peace out.
Peace.
因为我要教你一句西班牙语。
西班牙语。
因为我跟你们说，就是现在在墨西哥疫情还是很严重，很久以前没看见父母，所以我们要为他们加油。可以帮我们说，加油墨西哥！
加油墨西哥！
加油墨西哥！你们好，你们能不能帮我们为墨西哥加油？可以吗？好。
怎么加油？
就是加油墨西哥。好。1、2、3，加油墨西哥！小朋友，
加油墨西哥！
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 为墨西哥加油，可以吗？rechazado。加油墨西哥！墨西哥加油！
墨西哥加油！
谢谢。
是哪个墨西哥的？
墨西哥的，对，这是我们的国旗。
Mexico。
厉害！加油墨西哥！一吧 ？Mexico。你说的好 ，high five， 很好。
加油墨西哥！加油墨西哥！很好。
还有一位呢。加油！
很好，说得好。加油墨西哥，可以吗？
加油墨西哥！
好，我们一起说。Viva Mexico。
墨西哥。2、3。Viva Mexico。
你没说呢。
To make a list of the 8 reasons why I still live in China after 8 years. And I will keep choosing this country to live and spend the rest of my life if I can. Opportunity. China is a huge country that is going through a wonderful, amazing transformation, and I've shown you all this process throughout my videos. Everywhere I go, there's so many things changing, there's so much opportunity, there's so much innovation everywhere you go. I believe China is one of the most innovating countries I've ever been to. Actually, you can notice that everywhere you go, every city has something to offer. I really get impressed because I have a lot of Chinese friends, and for them it's not so hard to find a job. A lot of people come to the big cities like Shenzhen looking for a job, looking for a better quality of life, which is something they can find here. A lot of companies that offer good jobs, good salaries. Also, all around the world, people come to China looking for opportunity, including myself. Originally, I came here working for a hotel as a guest relation manager. Then slowly I started transitioning to video creation, and I found that opportunity here. Well, I don't think if I would be in another place in the world, I will have that chance that I had here in China. So just like I did many people, I have a lot of friends who have good jobs here, good lifestyle. They have found all these different opportunities in a country like China. Another of the reasons I love China so much, and this is one of the most important ones, I think for a person coming from Latin America like me, it's make a huge difference in daily life, and I'm talking about safety. China is the safest country in the planet, I would say. No matter where you go, no matter what time, you feel safe. You don't feel afraid like you're gonna get robbed, somebody's gonna steal your belongings. China is changing. China is not the same country as 10, 20, 30 years ago. And that's something people around the world should understand. Women are safe, kids are safe, that is something that you appreciate a lot. I love going outside at night with my kid and not being afraid. I love going partying with my friends and not being afraid. I love being anywhere and feel safe to protect. True, there are cameras everywhere here in China, and I don't really know why people consider that an issue. I believe that is a huge strength of the Chinese system. You have cameras everywhere, so you're protected. I mean, if you're not making any crime, if you're not a thief, why should you care about it? Like, this is for your own benefit. You're protected. You have cameras everywhere. You have systems that control everything for your own benefit, for your own safety. If you drop something like a phone in a taxi and you don't have the number, you have cameras to track that. And actually, there's a real case of one of my friends. He left his backpack in a car and didn't have the car number or the contact of this taxi, but because of a camera system all around the area where he got off the car, it was able for him and the local police station to track that car, and he got his backpack back. So you know what I'm saying, right? It's for your own benefit. All this security and safety system that China has implemented, I believe is magnificent. I think it's one of the best in the world, and the result is you live in a very, very safe country. And the other reason for me is people. When you move to another country, you want to feel welcome, you want to have a connection with local people. And since the very beginning, that's how I felt when I moved to China. And up to now, I still have that connection. I believe people in China are very friendly in their own way. How to put this? When you come to China as a visitor for a few days, you perhaps won't have the chance to actually get immersed in the culture and get in touch with the people in a deep way. When you live here several years, you learn to know the people, learn to know the culture, the way they are. I believe I'm already in a point where I totally understand local Chinese people, and that's why I guess it's not so hard for me to make friends here in China. You need to spend here a long period of time to understand them well. And actually, when I first came here, and I found some differences, because of course we're coming from different cultures, we have different backgrounds, we have different personalities. And when I found these kind of differences with some of my friends or my coworkers, usually the answer that I got was like, you don't understand China. And now I do understand what they meant by that. So that's true. It's hard for us to understand in just a few days the way they are. So spending time and living in a country like China gives you the chance to appreciate the way they are, their culture, their personalities. I am there already, and people is one of the reasons why I keep choosing China, why I like China so much. We are different, definitely, but after you understand the reasons why people do this or that, the background of their culture, it's easier to socialize, it's easier to make friends here. And I am so happy that I am in a country like China where people are extremely friendly and they're so open to other cultures. They're very curious, they want to know, they always have questions, they always want to be your friend. That is really amazing. I love when I go anywhere, like in an airport, in a subway station, in the street, a shopping mall, and somebody approaches to you and they just want to maybe just practice their English, but they're being friendly, and that's something good, that's something really positive, that you have the chance to make friends just because, no special reasons, no any hidden reason behind, just because of the fact they just want to be your friend. And that's something that happens here in China everywhere, big and small cities. You can make friends if you're a visitor. Now, the next reason for me is convenience. I live in a very, very beautiful city, Shenzhen, and this is one of the biggest and most important cities in China. Of course, it's super modern. Everywhere you go, you have beautiful spaces like these, parks, that skyline behind me, a lot of like shopping malls, public spaces for people to go around and enjoy, amazing subway systems. You have an incredible and extensive high-speed railway network that can take you virtually anywhere in the country. So it's absolutely convenient to be here. I drive to go to work, I drive to pick up my kid, and I sometimes decide just not to, because you have so many options. You can just grab a taxi, you can just take the subway, you can just walk there, you can ride a bike. So you have plenty of options to move all around the city with the most absolute convenience. And this is something that is basically everywhere. It's not just because Shenzhen is a brand new young city, it's simply because that is the system, that is the way here in China. Authorities and government, they do care for people and they design, they invest in people's well-being. You can notice that in daily life. When you're commuting to work, when you grab a taxi or just take a bike on the street and then just ride a few minutes and you're already there, and you have the roads for your bike to ride safely, and you have the spaces to park your bike or the parking lots for your car, or it's easy and convenient just to call a taxi, or it's easy and convenient to reach a subway station just meters away from where you are. That is convenience. Traveling is another of the reasons why China is an amazing place to live. I love traveling since I was a little kid, and up to now I still love doing that. China is an incredible country to travel. During these pandemic times, those 3 years of restrictions we had, even though there were big restrictions to go out of China, traveling within China was pretty easy. So I had the chance to discover so many beautiful places I didn't know China had. Any imaginable place on earth, China has it. Traveling here is absolutely convenient. You have a lot of options, but also traveling to other countries. China has a privileged location. I've had the chance to go many countries: Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, India, Spain, Belgium, France, Italy, Switzerland, Denmark, Netherlands, Brazil, Argentina. I've been to America, I've been to Mexico, Russia. The list is very long, and all these countries I visited while I was living here in China. You have amazing traveling infrastructure, incredible airports. You have wonderful modern train stations that can take you anywhere in China. So when we're talking about traveling, China is definitely an excellent place to live. Modernity is another of the words that comes to my mind when I talk about China. It's, as I say, a very convenient and modern place. Chinese cities are evolving, are changing, are growing, and places like the one I'm right now, Shenzhen, is an example of that. So China has gone through a very big transformation already, but this is just, I would say, the tip of the iceberg. I think there's still a long way to go, and I'm so thrilled and excited to be here in this time of history to kind of witness what is going on in China. And I try to capture through my videos what I'm telling you right now. I've been to so many cities, big and small, small towns, regions far away from where I live, and I've seen everywhere deep change. This evolution, this change that China is going through is very positive and is bringing a lot of prosperity and quality of life to the people who live here. I've witnessed that with my own eyes. I've seen that. I've captured that on my videos. I wish I could have like a camera that takes you with me 24 hours to see what I see, because my feelings, my words are pretty genuine, are very sincere, and that's because I like what I see. I like to see these changes. I like see a smile on people's faces. I like to see kids having fun. I like to see families going to a park and having spaces to enjoy. That's something you can see in China very easily, basically anywhere. Of course, with these evolutions and this modernity I'm talking about comes prosperity. That is the other reason why I think China is an awesome place to live. Of course, people who live here feel very happy, and that is a common answer when you ask anybody. So this prosperity I'm talking about is like a result of several measures that the government is implementing to let people enjoy their resources. Consequences of a very well-designed economic plan with more investments, more measures that take care of people's well-being, that will be translated into more and more benefits for regular people. Like I go to any place in this city, you find a very convenient subway system that can take me anywhere for just a small amount of money in a safe, convenient, comfortable way. You have air conditioning, you have Wi-Fi in the subway station, you have clean seats, you have toilets that are pristine in every subway station. That is something I call prosperity. The number 8 reason, and it's also super important to me, is challenge. China, as I said, is not all wonderful and beautiful. You need to learn to understand and respect local culture, local people, local rules. But still, China is a challenging country, and that is something very positive actually. I came here from a totally different culture. I didn't speak their language when I first came here. I didn't even like Chinese food. I didn't even try before too many dishes. But being here all these years have represented also a challenge. And I'm talking, yes, about the cultural differences, I'm talking about the language, I'm talking about the system that is also quite different. You need to learn how to adapt yourself and respect the rules here. You need to respect and understand how local people behave. And do not try to change it, because that's the way they are. It's their country. And that is one of the biggest secrets. Open your mind and do not pretend you need to change people or system here. That is not going to happen. It's you who needs to change and adapt to local culture. And that's the secret, and that's it. But still, as I said, I do enjoy that challenge of learning something new every day, of trying something new, of going to a different place every time. Because as I said, China is so big that I don't think one life is enough to go to every single town in this place. If you want a challenge, if you want something different, and at the same time something very positive, just come to China and try for a while to live in here. It's going to be wonderful. I can assure you that.